Yo guys, this is TNN and this is the M17 handheld games console with 30,000 games in it. Yes, you heard me right, 30,000 games. It's one of the cheapest handheld games console that can run PSP, you're talking PSP, PS1, Nintendo 64, Game Boy Advance, all these different consoles here, Nintendo Entertainment System, yeah. All sorts of games here, and you can see over here the total number of games, 29,926 games on this things. We've got shoulder buttons, USB Type-C. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's unbox this and let's check this out, so stay tuned. Right, so here we have the M17 games console. Now I got this from AliExpress, so link to buy will be down in the description, and it was around 30 quid, which is around 49, 45 sort of dollars, I think, that sort of mark. So £35, something like that it was. So it's really cheap, and it is probably the cheapest, best handheld console out there, to be honest with you, especially if you're looking at that sort of price range. And the box actually is quite nice, to be fair. So we get featured with the actual product, and really cool little graphics on here. I'm guessing this is the company that makes it, SJGAM M17. Claims it has a HD screen at 4.3 inches. And not much else really on the box wise. We've got a few like product parameters and specs over here. So it is running Emulator 4.3, which is the emulator UI and software. Simulation, you can do PSP, PlayStation 1 and Nintendo 64 and many more, like Game Boy and stuff like that, which we'll go through definitely. We've got a quad-core Cortex A7 up to 1.2 GHz. It's got an LCD display, 4.3 inch 480 by 272 IPS, which I believe is from the original PSP, so it is just a little PSP screen in here. It's got a 2000 mAh battery, which is pretty good, and it's got a SD card slot which can support up to 128 gigabytes. Now this is the 128 gigabyte version M17, so it should come with a 128 gigabyte SD card already installed in there, and the power supply that it needs is 5 volt 2 amp. So that is pretty cool over here. So let's go ahead and let's go straight into the box, shall we? Let's open it up. Now there's not going to be a lot of stuff in this box, if I'm honest with you. Got foam padding to keep the actual product safe. So here we have the M17. We'll put that to the side. We get a user manual, really basic, really simple basic user manual, to be honest with you. Not much to it. Yeah, chuck that to the side. We get a USB Type-C to Type A cable, and then that's it, some cheap plastic. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what you would expect from this box. It is a £30 games console, so if you expected a lot to come out of this box, you need to lower your standards, if I'm honest with you. So let's just chuck that to the side over there. Let's get straight into the console and chuck this out of the way as well. Here we have it. Here we have the console. Now it kind of reminds me of like a Nintendo Switch Lite. I'm guessing that's where they got the inspo from. So this is the upgraded version of the M17. This is the newer version, so it doesn't come with the little M17 logo at the bottom, which might be what you're used to seeing on YouTube. A lot of them are the older ones that have M17. This is a newer one. This is our lovely 4.3 inch screen right over here, which looks pretty nice, to be honest with you. Quite fingerprint magnety, you know, it's not a touch screen. But I believe this screen is actually from the PSP, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it's the official Sony one, or whoever made it for Sony. I think it's just a cheap knockoff version, but it's for the PSP. So we have the volume down and volume up buttons over here, which feel pretty nice. We've got our L1, L2 and R1, R2 buttons at the top over here. We've got our USB Type-C charging port, and I love that. I love that it's a USB Type-C and not a micro USB, because micro USB is so outdated and old and I hate using that. We've got a 3.5mm headphone jack, our SD card slot, and a power on, power off sliding rocker switch. Now let's just see our SD card, if I can get it out, that is. Let's have a look. There it is. It's a 128GB memory card. Zero branding on here, not much to it. It says class 10, so I mean it probably is 128GB, but God knows how good quality this SD card is. Let's try and get that back in there. The R1 and L1 buttons feel really good, the shoulder buttons. We do have our analog sticks here, which do have a bit of rubber tips on the top, so nice bit of grip. They actually feel really good, and they also have some click button functionality as well. We've got a D-pad over here, up, down, left and right, which feel really good as well actually. Select and start, again, plasticky buttons, not rubber, but they feel pretty solid, make a nice click. This one's a lot quieter than this one. The select button is a lot quieter than the start button, don't know about that. We've got our typical A, B, Y and X. And we have an LED indicator which will tell us if we're charging, fully charged, or if we're powered on. So it's red if we're charging and it's blue when we're powered on. It is quite a slim product, it's not too bad. It's probably like the size of my fingers, so about, I'd say about 2 centimeters probably thickness. Not bad at all. Just got some grill marks there to match this, but here is our mono speaker, so it's just a single speaker. Don't expect a lot from it, but it's pretty loud, to be honest with you. We do have a QC Pass 2024, some stickers on here to say that it has had checks and it's passed. That's good to know. Let's go ahead and power it on and let's see what it looks like really. Let me give this a quick little wipe. It does take a bit of time to power on as well. We're looking at around 30 seconds for it to just boot up. Let's give the screen a little wipe though. And then you can see the Emulator logo boot up over there as well. So that's pretty cool. Now this is a really cool console if it's for like kids or amateurs or just someone who's like, if you just want to game on the go and just play for fun, like this is the one. So we've got various different consoles. There's loads up straight with the PSP and also the same graphics as the box, which is a nice little touch there. If we go ahead and click start, we can see the settings that we can play around with on Emulator. There's not a lot you can play around with, like controller wise and refresh rates wise, but you can do a few things like change the theme interface, display controls and system views. You can adjust your sound, whether you want sounds when you're navigating, your backlight, which I put on 100% because I like it a little bit bright. You can change the language. I've of course selected English UK, but you've got Espanol, Mexicano, no idea what these are, French, Hungarian, Italian, Japanese, Korean. See if you can see the languages that you like, or Norwegian, Bokmal, Dutch, Norwegian, Polish, Portuguese, yeah, a bunch of different languages here. So it's quite good, it supports a lot of different languages. We'll go ahead and leave it on English UK. So we've got a bunch of different consoles on here, and we've got Sony PSP, we've got Arcade, we've got Final Burn Neo, multiple arcade machine emulator, Atari 2600, Atari 5200, Atari 7800, Atari Lynx, Capcom System 1, Capcom System 2, Capcom System 3, NEC PC engines, Nintendo NES, which is the Nintendo Entertainment System, NES Hacks, Nintendo Game Boy, Super Famicom, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Sega Genesis, Sega Game Gear, Sega Mega Drive, Neo Geo Pocket Color, Sony PlayStation, and then we've got all the games over here, which will list up 29,926 games in total, which is pretty insane, to be honest with you. I don't know if we're definitely not going to be able to show it in all the videos, but let alone that, I don't know if I'm going to be able to play all those games. But you can also select your favourites here, which I've gone and selected 12, which is nice to know as well. And yeah, this thing over here, don't expect it to be a powerhouse. It can run some PSP games, but not a lot. So when it comes to like heavy games like GTA, Vice City, you will definitely see some lag, and we'll go through that. We'll show you that in this video. Don't expect a lot from it. Arcade games, you know, Neo, some of these it will run absolutely fine. Nintendo 64, a little bit of laggy on there, won't be able to run all of them. But you know, your Game Boys and your Mega Drives, it can run that absolutely fine. Some PlayStation games. Now, a lot of the games that this comes preloaded with are pretty light games anyway. So, like, especially the PSP games, these are like very PSP light games. But you can literally select on every option. So if we select PSP, for example, we can scroll down and see all the games available, and we also have lovely little thumbnail pictures of the games, which is nice to know. Keeps it a little bit more interesting and not so boring. Now you're probably wondering, 29,000 games, how the hell are you going to search the ones that you want? You can just go ahead and press Y at the top and you can search the games that you're after. So example, if we search Mario. Now one thing I did notice as well, if I push against and hold the analog stick, it doesn't just skip along, so you do need to manually go along like this, which can be a little bit long, but it's not too bad, to be honest with you. And then we can just open up all the Mario games just like that. It's really easy, really simple. And then if you go to the list of games over here and you want to save one, for example Dragon Ball, and you want to save it onto your favorites, it says over here favorite I for some reason, which I noticed as well. Let's see if we can focus that there, but that's definitely not X. The actual button to put it on favorite is X. Press X and you can see added to favorites. If you want to remove it of favorites, press X again and it will go removed from favorites. But not too sure why it says I. And the same with the search, it says T when it's actually Y. So I'm guessing it maybe because, I don't know, Emulator was made for another console at the start, but yeah, I'm not too sure. And like, same with the back button, it's like a square, circle with a square, but it's definitely not that. The back button is just B on this. It's pretty good though. We've got like a nice battery indicator. I love the layout of it as well. I like how sleek it looks, and even through the actual UI, it's really sleek and not laggy. It's got good viewing angles as well. You can see over here, like the color and like the viewing angles are actually really good, and even outdoors in the sunlight and daylight, like if it's really bright sunlight, then yeah, maybe you'll struggle to see the screen, but just normal daylight, cloudy day, sunlight, it's actually quite good as well. You can see outside, which is impressive. I was expecting this display to not be that great, but it's pretty solid. I mean, I guess it's just a PSP display, isn't it? I saw like a lot of people online were talking about how the screen looks really crappy, and like you can see that it's like not like the actual layer on top, and that is built. Yeah, you really can't actually notice that, like that the screen is below and the glass is above. It's genuinely not that bad, and I think the money that you're paying for this, like you're paying around 30-40 quid, like that's generally not bad. That's really good for a price, for the price you're paying and for what you get. It's pretty impressive. And I mean, if I compare that with the other cheapest, like this would be the next level up, cheapest handheld games console sold on like websites like AliExpress and Temu. If I go ahead and get the 501, I think it was, or 401 emulator Game Boy type console that I got from AliExpress, which was like a $5, which is like 5 quid, which is like $8. It's a massive difference in comparison. If you're paying like, yeah, you're paying a lot, well not a lot more, but quite a bit more compared to £5, and you're getting a hell of a lot out of this. So let me go and get that and we can show you the difference in sizing as well. So here we have this Game Boy little console here, which was also full of a bunch of games. You know, this one you can definitely tell the screen is really below and the plastic or glass is on top. You know, you can really tell on this one here, and the viewing angles not good at all. You're literally seeing what I'm seeing. Yeah, viewing angles not so great at all, but a sort of similar function, sliding switch, you can power off, on and off. That's the great thing about this as well, like mid-game, if you want to just quickly switch off, you can just flick the switch and it quickly switches off. But I don't want to waffle on for too long. Let's get straight into this. Let's see some games, shall we? So let's go ahead and let's try out some games. Let's go with the light games first, like let's go Crash Bandicoot, Crash Nitro Kart, so let's load that up there. Bearing in mind that I know a lot of these consoles and stuff, like a lot of these emulators, let's just put the volume down. The volume goes up in increments of 10%, and it's actually really good. That's quite loud. Like, it's not the best sounding, but it's definitely loud. I know a lot of these stuff, like you can just get it on your phone and play these games on your phone these days, but it's just not the same playing on your phone. You don't want your phone battery to die. This is just like, you can just leave it around, laying around, like it doesn't really matter. So it's super responsive, as you can see, and then of course you can also use the D-pad. Now some of these games you have to figure out the buttons on how you select. So in this one it's not A, it's B. Let's just go with adventure. Slot 1. Bandicoot. Trying to figure out how the hell do I continue with this. Oh, I literally just have to keep typing it. It is super responsive and like the text is really clear to read. Let's just keep skipping this. God, this is so long. It's telling me a whole story. Oh, there you go. Okay, alright. Let's just figure out the game on our own. You can see here, like, it says press A. It's not A. Do you know what I mean? So that's one thing. But when look at that, it's working pretty well. And let's go ahead and start this off. So this will be a Game Boy game. Game Boy games, it runs absolutely fine. Like, look at that, no lag at all. No issues with that, runs absolutely fine. And to quit the game, you just have to simultaneously press start and select at the same time. So if you press start, you can pause the game, resume the game. And in this one, you can quit and go back to the home screen. But to quit the actual game and go back to the Emulator UI to select a new game, you just double click. Resume, save state, load game, or quit game. Go ahead and quit the game. So now I'm going to play something a little bit more heavy. So these are some of my favourite games. We've got Rayman and stuff like that. So the Game Boy games, it actually plays really, really well. Games that it struggles with is more like the PSP type games. It's a bit too much for it. So for example, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, if we load that up, we'll see over here the lag and the delay, and even in the audio as well. You'll hear a lot of like scratchy noise, a lot of lagging, a lot of frame rates being dropped, really. So that's noticed a lot when it comes with heavier games, especially like the PSP, and just focus the camera on the actual console here. So let's load this up as well. So loading times, I have to say to it, is pretty good. It's not too slow. It's actually, but you can see here, the straight away, like, oh, the lag and the freezing right there. And this is just playing the video. This isn't, and the game's not even started yet. It's just playing a video. There's some bits of the game where it just works pretty well, and there's some bits where it just lags.
If plans change, I'll let you know. What's this?
You can see it's just like so laggy. Even with the like with running around, like the bits, you can see like the frames jumping. So like if we get on a lot of movement stuff, like if we get on this bike, for example, let's put the volume down. Like if we get on this bike, for example, like it's not too bad. It's playable, but you can tell like this is struggling. Like this ain't a PSP. You can hear the music slowing down. That's playing. It is starting to lag. And there's been a few points where while I was playing it freezes, like just right there. I'm not sure if you saw that, it did froze there. And sometimes it freezes for a little bit longer, or it gets a bit more laggy. I wouldn't be surprised if sometimes the game even completely crashes. But it's playable, like it's not that bad, which is, I mean, the price you're paying for it, don't expect this to be some amazing emulator that just works really, really well. It's going to be a bit laggy. Let's get on the actual map and get on the streets. This is where it's starting to struggle a bit more. You can hear the songs are a bit laggy. And if we hit into a car, yeah, it was just lagging there. It was too much for it, do you know what I mean? So it works. I got to give it to it. It works, but it's probably not the most fun to play with. I mean, you can probably download GTA Trilogy on your phone and play it a lot better. So that's the example of like where it's a bit laggy, you know, where it doesn't really edge that much. But some games, most games, it will be able to play it, like super retro games like arcade games like Pac-Man, you know, piece of cake for a console like this. I mean, it's not made for the heavy gamers. This console is not made for anyone looking to be heavy with it, be professionals with it, you know. I think its main target audience is kids, like kids or someone who just wants something just for fun, just a side thing, just when they're bored for a few minutes, just to sit there and play. And I think this really does do the job. We've got so many games on there, and these are just my favourite ones. Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Pro Evolution Soccer 2023, this one is apparently. Don't know how true that is, but there's Crash Bandicoot, there's Rayman, there's Crazy Taxi, that's the Game Boy version. And yeah, this isn't Espanol. Like, it's not even in English. So that's sometimes you'll notice that some games are like, they're just not only like I noticed one game, you can see it says circle for back, because of course this is a PSP game. But you can see some games like that are on this console is like, it's in Japanese, or like it's in like completely different languages. So some games may not even work. So like this may not even work. I mean, let's give it a go. Like Pro Evolution Soccer 2023. I mean, that would be a shock. I mean, it's literally, I don't know what any of this means. It's literally all in Spanish. Like, how do I, like, I don't know. There's a lot. See, that's one thing when you play with emulators, you don't know the controls. So like, how do I continue this? I wouldn't even know. And what makes it worse is that it's not even in English. I mean, it's pretty cool. I have a feeling this will work. Let me try and set this up and see if this actually works. It's in Spanish, so it's really hard to try and set up. But I wonder if this actually works. So let me do that and we'll be right back. Okay, I don't know what I've done here, but I've somehow managed to set up a game for England versus France. It is all in Spanish. So I have no idea what I'm doing, but it's pretty cool. Like, you can see a bit of a lag there, actually. This actually kind of works. I mean, the audio is a bit laggy, but you can use the shoulder buttons to flick through different players. Got Raheem Sterling. If you watch football and stuff, it's pretty crazy that there's a 2023 game out here. It actually works really well. Yeah, that surprisingly runs really well. Only annoying thing is it's in Spanish. I wish it could be in English. Maybe there's a way around it. I don't know. I wish I knew Spanish to know how to change it. But it's pretty cool. The only like annoying thing about this, I guess, is that a lot of the Game Boy games are made for 4:3 ratio instead of by this 16:11, which I believe this is 16:11, I think, ratio. A lot of the games are stretched out to be into this ratio. For Pac-Man is a good example. You can see this game is definitely stretched out. It's definitely made for a 4:3 ratio. I know there's ways where people put custom like softwares, UIs and emulators on this to re-stretch this screen back into 4:3. It's not a huge like bug for me. It's not like that deep, but I can see how some people don't really like it too much. But I think it's pretty cool, to be fair, that it fits the whole screen. It doesn't bother me too much, but yeah, I guess it would be nicer if it was the original display size. So that's really it with the M17. I mean, I think it's an amazing product for the price, for how smooth it is, for how good it works. I definitely think it's a buy. It's one of the best, cheapest handheld games consoles out there. I know everything that this can do, your phone can do, and probably do it better, but it's just not the same. Having it on touchscreen isn't the same. Even getting a games console adapter thing for your phone, like a controller, it's still not the same. It's just not a console. It's not portable. It's not just something you can just beat up and just chuck it around. You know, this is a lot different. I am looking to get a PlayStation Vita and, you know, modding that and getting some emulators and stuff like that on there. Of course, that's going to run like 100 times better than this. Price comparison, that's costing around 80 to 100 quid. to get that done, whereas this is around £30-35. So of course, if you're looking to invest a little bit more and you want to get a super good gaming console that's handheld, then I'd probably say get the PS Vita and just mod that. I'm going to do that, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe, definitely wait to check that out, and we can compare and see how good and how much paying that bit extra can give you. Of course, this can't play anything like Vita games and stuff. This can barely play PSP games. But for what you get, good bit of fun, I'd say it's definitely a good buy. Build quality, absolutely amazing. I'm really happy with the build quality. Screen quality, I think it's great. And overall score, I'm going to have to give it 8 out of 10. Definitely go out there and buy this. It's a great little present for kids or just for adults who just want to do casual games. Just get that throwback game to play some old school games that you used to play when you were younger. So if you're interested in purchase, link to buy will be down in the description. As always, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And thanks for watching.